One of the most important pieces of equipment for a home gym after you've gotten the essentials and accepted that you're not going back to a commercial gym or ever saving money with your home gym is some type of cable machine, be it a lat pull down, dedicated functional trainer, or combo unit of sorts. And this to me is one of the best, if not the best, compact budget versions of a functional trainer out there. The Bells of Steel Selectorized Functional Trainer. So in this review, we're going to look at what it does well and where I'd like to see some tweaks while we compare it to some of its closest competitors. With a small footprint and dual 160-pound stacks, Bells has created a machine that is priced very well against the competition. We've had this for 5 months now, and against my Aries and commercial cable machine, I'll be honest, I didn't have high hopes for it. But even an equipment snob has to admit that sometimes we don't always need all the bells and whistles, and I found this to work pretty well even in our loaded space, which is actually a pretty powerful statement. But before you go spamming my affiliate links, let's break it down a little bit. The appeal of this, besides its price versus others, is in its footprint. In a small space, every inch counts, and even though this is a small unit, compared to pretty much everything out there, the width still feels good on flies, and at 81 inches tall, this is going to fit into a lot of basements or spots with lower ceilings. And with 16 height increments, you can lock the trolleys into ranging from about 71 inches down to 10 inches. It's probably tall enough for most people, or at least I really don't have any issues with it at 6 foot tall. And versus something like an 80-inch Aries build, granted that's actually a 93-inch Aries build, but on an 80-inch build, you're probably only getting about 65 inches. Where that height can be a bit of a problem is with the pull-up bar. Granted, you could just raise your legs up some. But if you don't care about your shoulders because you're into CrossFit and prefer kipping pull-ups, that height actually might be an issue. And while we're on the pull-up bar, the multi-grip pull-up bar is a nice touch with the fat and skinny grips in the front and back versus your standard pair or pairs of handles in the front, because it adds a little functionality and stability to the unit. But the angled pair here is maybe at a little bit of an awkward angle to me. At least it feels a little awkward, but really my issue with the angled pair is they are put exactly in the spot where my preferred grip width would be for pull-ups. And actually, since we're on the delicate topic of size, can we all stop lying about the size of our weight stacks? I mean, come on. Yeah, I look cool to my neighbors when I'm maxing out the stack, but actually my neighbors don't actually come over here or talk to me, so really I'm just lying to myself here. Sure, it looks great advertising dual 160-pound stacks, but with a 2-to-1 ratio, it's really only 80 pounds per side, and Bells isn't alone in this. Yes, I'm looking at you too, Titan, and actually I think Inspire just has stickers that say 1, 2, 3, 4. Frey doesn't even have stickers, and Rep is at least honest with their numbers, but the weight increments are kind of odd on both the 3,000 and 5,000, though the increments on the Aries are actually pretty logical. And which, by the way, those are all the companies you'd be comparing this to in this price range. And while Bells is technically the cheapest, it also has the smallest stack, though they're honestly all fairly close, unless you're considering the Aries, which is its own thing entirely. So I'll just selfishly plug my own video of it right about there. Luckily, even though Bells has a smaller stack, I do happen to know a guy with an affiliate link and discount code who knows how to add more weight to these things using a gym pin. And he was nice enough to let us link it and the other items we talked about in this video in the description. You know, if you wanted to support that really nice guy's channel so he keeps making videos like this. All right, a few other quick notes about the weight stack, because what's often overlooked is the starting weight on these things. With Bell's functional trainer, that first plate is effectively 5 pounds, which is great because Winnie has trouble on her Aries sometimes on exercises like front and lat raises, since the Aries starts at 10 pounds. And actually Rep's FT5000 is even worse because it starts at 12.5 pounds. So would it be nice if they had a bigger weight stack? Sure, I'd love them to push it to 200 pounds per side, but I'm not really sure how important that is on a functional trainer. But that starting weight is a big deal to us. And speaking of pushing weight, one of our Patreons asked us if you could connect the stacks together when Winnie did her reveal video of this over there. So we used our Gym Pin Pro D handle like we do to connect our Airy stacks, and it didn't quite work as well since this is a little bit wider, but it did allow me to test the stability. You can probably see in this clip here, it'll jiggle with some heavier pulls, but it's not going anywhere, even when you do dumb things you're not supposed to do with these. And believe me, since this was sent to me for free for the review, I felt perfectly fine trying to break it. I mean, I even tried to flip it. And while I'm sure you could, you'd have to be a lot dumber than me to do so. The packaging could be a bit better, but since mine arrived in good shape and I'm not very smart, didn't actually take any pictures of it. But in classic Bell's fashion, the written directions are awful. But the build is not really that bad. But please, please, Bells, could you just label the bolts? There's like 50 of them in there and they're all within like 5 millimeters of each other. I'll forgive you for the directions since you have an assembly video that I didn't watch because I'm too much of a man for that, as always, and that's also why I didn't ask for any help. That's actually not true. I did ask for help, but nobody came to help, so I put this all together myself, and it took about 2.5 hours, and then I had this. Altogether, it's a pretty well done machine. It operates smoothly, the trolley rotates 180 degrees, and locks in easily, and the robust aluminum pulleys should last forever in a home gym. Would be nice if these storage hooks were opened up a little bit, because while all the attachments I've tried have fit on it, Bell's own handles actually take a little work to get in there, which is kind of a little bit ironic. And actually these handles really aren't anything special, but they're functional, and I've seen worse. And Bell's has been building up their library of attachments, and it's all stuff, while it's not going to blow you away or stand out, it's similar to what you'd see in a lot of commercial gyms. Actually, while we're talking about attachments, I should probably mention I swapped out the carabiners to these larger ones I had lying around. There wasn't anything wrong with the Bell's ones. They did fit my other attachments, but I have an odd number of carabiners around here, and Winnie's gonna start throwing things out if I don't pretend I have uses for things, so ta-da! Overall, I feel like Bell's has done a good job of balancing price and quality here. Sure, you're not getting the knurled trolley handles of the Aries, or the big weight stack or other high-end consumer touches, but you're also not getting the price tag. My 4-post Aries, which I really like, and it can do a lot more than this can, it costs like 2 times what this does. If we take a look at the Bells of Steel site and take a minute to admire that handsome guy on the main page, wow, he should really get some royalties for that picture, right? Well, Bell's functional trainer, while still expensive, is an upgrade over some of the bare bone options around this price range, which are all imported just like this one is. Yet, it doesn't really feel cheaply done, even if it is maybe a little light with its 14 gauge construction. But I give Bell's credit here because most others in this price range don't list their steel gauge, though Titan was generous enough to tell us theirs is made of steel. Thanks, that's useful. With Bells of Steel lifetime warranty and a good build quality, this will probably outlast me in a home gym, and it may be a good way to save some money. But if it's out of your price range, and understandably so, they're prototyping a plate-loaded version, which I'm sure I'll weasel my way into reviewing, so subscribe so you don't miss that one. If you enjoyed this video, check out this completely unrelated or maybe related video. I don't know, YouTube picked it for you, but it's got me in it, so it's got to be good, right? Thank you to our patrons, links in the description, and as always, hit that like button and make some kind of random comment for the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.